Hey, I want to talk about something real quick. I'm not gonna like fuck around or anything. The problem with this game right now is that a lot of the changes have been about slowly pushing things towards like DPS and more face time, and the problem with that is that it completely shits on what is important in terms of like uniqueness of this game, and that is being able to soak component-based damage and being able to like trade and stuff like that. And if you're good at it, you have the skill for it, then you're able to dictate where you want like an enemy shot to go. And every time that they do these sorts of changes where it lowers the amount of burst damage in favor of lower heat and faster cycle times, what it does is encourages less snapshotting and soaking and reflex play. It encourages more tilting on people and staring at them. Like if you think about what has been powerful in the game for several years now, it's UX, heavy Gauss, PC with hardpoint inflation, which is something I'll explain in a minute. LBX spam, because people can't aim ballistics or something like that, some sort of nonsense. You're seeing a lot of racks. Not really aiming, quasi-aim MRMs, ATMs, like the list, like MG squirting. Start with an anecdote. Like there was a time in beta where in this game, if a light was running a circle around someone, we call it the circle of death because they were probably going to die in about 5 seconds because it was a great way to be an absolute newbie. It's the type of strat that someone actually plays on the first day that they install the game and they're playing a light. Seriously, it's probably the first thing that like a player will try out in terms of tactics is to run a fucking circle around someone. That is asinine. That the type of shit that PGI is encouraging is that sort of play. All the stare time, all the DPS. When you do that, you lower the amount of like skill that's required in the game, and you can quantify it. You can fucking statistically see this. For example, if I go into fucking Solaris and I take my SPL Nova, it's going to be nothing but like Kodiak, 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 Kodiak. And these Kodiaks, think about this, they don't even have to move. They don't have to turn. They're just like turrets. They're just slowly like boop, 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 boop. And it's just one fucking mouse button. Okay? So that means that if I make one mistake, any of these fights are probably like such a tonnage and damage hole and armor hole that it's going to be difficult to get out. So like, let's say I make one mistake and I'll leave a guy red cord. And let's go back to the instant replay and check the actions per minute. Yeah, everybody who plays RTS or StarCraft or something like that, anybody who plays a real game competitively understands like actions per minute is probably like if you're doing a whole lot more actions and you're doing them efficiently and accurately and at the correct times, then you probably are a better player than your opponent. So if you analyze that fucking fight, one of those Kodiak fights, it's like my actions per minute is probably, you know, 1 billion per fucking minute compared to the context of the Kodiak. I mean, you can literally stand there with one fucking, you know, one hand. Like I could be sitting here eating a sandwich and just hitting one fucking button. Nom nom nom. Like, meanwhile, I'm having to like, I have to turn. I have to shoot, I have to turn back, soak properly, doing jump jets, being mobile, aiming properly quickly, and all he has to do is sit there and slowly like turn with his mouse and then just go click, click, click. That's dumb. That's like statistically bad. There's no other way of putting that. When they encourage more of this shit, dude, like, why would you not buff micro pulses to be viable for the analog of a laser machine gun? Why do you have to nerf small pulse lasers? Why do you have to nerf small lasers? To encourage that sort of play style, that sort of mindless shit where you're just circling around your guy or staring at him all fucking day. Dude, you could buff micro pulses. Like, Chris, I don't know if you're aware of this, dude, but it seems like you guys neglect mechanics in the game and actually like negatively impact them, like soaking, like I just explained, or you completely ignore something that is already in the game that probably like could serve to encourage that sort of playstyle in the first place, and you just neglect it entirely. So it seems to me like when you look at all this crap, the rack, the MRM, the MG, like a whole lot of this is about like new tech or whatnot. What it's really about is the business model of the game is want to buy a mech back. So the best way to actualize that business model is through better hardpoint location and through hardpoint inflation, which is what you see with a lot of higher tonnage mechs that can carry a lot of ballistics, big ballistics. So you have like bloat, and then you see it with stuff like the Piranha. So all I'm saying is that like it's quite obvious what's going on here, and what is the solution? Well, obviously what you need to do is to encourage more high skill play. And for example, have you ever seen anybody heavy Gauss pop-tarting? No, it doesn't exist. The reason why it doesn't exist is that PGI has designed the game as such where they want the powerful shit to be almost like skillless. You buff lerms to the point where you're actually encouraging more of that cowardly play that you guys are always trying to get rid of, you know, with your consumables and shit like that. Like, it's bad. It's bad. And so the way that you get rid of that is you encourage more you need to reward more high skill stuff. Like, I can't make it any more simple than that. Like, how many times do you see anybody pop-tart anymore? You can't even pop-tart with more than 20 damage, okay? And that 20 damage is not nearly as heat efficient as standing still around a corner and spraying for like 15 seconds. Or even just alphaing and backing up. Like, that is your problem. Do you not understand that? Like, going out around a corner and then hitting your fucking alpha and then backing up requires 3 hotkeys. Going forward, shooting your fucking alpha, and then backing up. That's 3 hotkeys, and they do that on an average of 4 times a minute, let's say, when you consider heat, okay? Now, you can't possibly tell me that somebody doing that is playing on a more truly, like, gaming, like, they might be thinking more tactically and strategically, like, they might be in a supreme position, and they only need to pop out all that, blah, 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 they have the good timing. The whole point is that, in terms of, like, actually playing a game, they're not nearly playing it on the level of somebody that is being super fucking mobile, soaking, dodging, riding heat cap, calling fucking Comrose Prio and giving info like that, and, shit like that. So the way to do it, it's very simple. The way that you start to backtrack off all this bullshit is you start to encourage like high skill play. You need to reward. You need to fucking do something about ghost heat on mechs that only have like they can do something very well, but it's not powerful enough because it's completely superseded by low skill shit. So that's it. Like, all you have to do is just basically go back and start doing some iterative changes that encourage smarter play. Like, when I think about lights, I think about like oxide generators and SPL Cheetah lights and stuff like that that have had times in the meta and 15 minutes of meta viability where it was really about like skill. And when you encourage all of this bullshit, we understand why you have to do it, and that's because most of the people who play this game are absolute potatoes. Like, but and the lights wouldn't even be on at this point if it wasn't for those people, and you have to appeal to them. But dude, like, don't insult us with all this bullshit about we listen to the feedback and all that nonsense. Like, it's very simple. You know, if you don't know by now like what a good game would look like in terms of skill, then we have no hope for you. So, but anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this encourages some debate or discussion, and moves the game towards a better place. Peace.